scriptures we have is Ephesians 4:10-16. It's Amplified version. He who descended is the very same as he who also ascended high above all the heavens, that his presence, might fill all things, that is, the whole universe. And his gifts to the church were varied, and he himself appointed some as apostles, special messengers, representatives, some as prophets who speak a new message from God to the people, some as evangelists who spread the good news of salvation, and some as pastors and teachers to shepherd and guide and instruct. And he did this to fully equip and perfect the saints, or God's people, for works of service to build up the body of Christ, the church. So I'm gonna stop right there. So he's saying that this is Paul saying that God gives us gifts. So the body of Christ is the church. And so the body, you have different parts of the body. So there's God gives us different purposes. That's why it's not just one purpose. Of course, there's one will, to bring the lost to Jesus so everyone can be saved. But we all have a unique gift. Some gifts may be in the same field. There are some gifts may be adding to a cause, and it's not new, but it's unique to us. He has a plan for us, and so this highlights some of the gifts that God can give us when we're training ourselves to be close to Him, when we build a relationship with Him, when we grow ourselves in Him and study the Word. He reveals more to us while we're maturing our spirit, and so we receive. Okay, my gift is this. Like, you're able to easily recognize it. So and when you're working out and you're in the program, and you starting at 10 pounds, and you're like, okay, this is kind of heavy, and you're constantly working out, you're constantly doing it. After a while, you're like, oh, this is easy, and you're able to do it more. It gets easier. So your mind is open to it more, and you're able to realize more of what God has intended for you. So to keep going, and then also, let me not skip over this, to fully equip and perfect the saints, God's people, for works of service to build up the body of Christ, the church. And so we are to equip these things. So once we know, we're not supposed to run from it. He shows us for us to equip it and then help others. And so that's where the accountability goes in. The fellowship comes in. You use your gifts to fellowship with others and to do your reviews of the program, to however way, whether it's evangelizing, pastoring, teaching, what else did it say? Prophesizing, those are some of the gifts that you can use, not only for the church, but and it says right here, to build up the church, to get people closer to God so they can realize their gifts too and spread out. So that's the program. We're working together. And so he's going to tell we all reach oneness in the faith and the knowledge of the Son of God. Oneness in faith. So we're reaching a certain goal. We have a certain goal in mind, which is Jesus. And so growing spiritually to become a mature believer, reaching to the measure of the fullness of Christ, manifesting His spiritual completeness and exercising our spiritual gifts in unity. So through this program, we are growing our spirit. We become mature believers. That you don't, when you get into the program, you're not supposed to be the same person 2-3 months from now, even like a week or two from there. You're supposed to be, even if it's a little bit, you're supposed to be a little different. You're supposed to think a little differently. You're supposed to feel a little differently about certain things that your past self, before you knew Christ, or just before you started getting closer to God, would think or would do. You're constantly renewing your mind, you're growing in the spirit, and you're maturing yourself to a point to where, let's say right here, to become a mature believer, reaching to the measure of the fullness of Christ, which are manifesting His spiritual completeness and exercising our spiritual gifts in unity. So once you realize your spiritual gift, we're using it in that body of Christ. We're not just because a lot of people, when they realize their gift, sometimes they can use it, but not for Jesus, not for God. They're using it, for basically the enemy, for saying, like, or whatever the case may be. Like, there are prophets, there are people that can see the future, but they don't use it for God, don't use it for Jesus. They're using it, whether it's for money or whatever the case may be. But it's saying right here, reach oneness in faith and the knowledge of the Son of God. So having that common goal. So once you realize your gift is not using it for the wrong thing. And so that's why sometimes you don't reveal your gift till your prep to a certain point. And sometimes you can know your gift, but sometimes you can't. So to keep going, so that we are no longer children, spiritually immature, tossed back and forth like ships on a stormy sea, and carried about by every wind of shifting doctrine, by the cunning and trickery of unscrupulous men, by the deceitful scheming of people ready to do anything for personal profit. What I just say, ready to do anything for personal profit. So we're mature enough, so we're in this program long enough. That's why it's important to feed your spirit and mind the right stuff, especially when you first start being a Christian, basically. So it's the saying, like, when we have when we're children in the spirit, when we're children in as a Christian, like a child Christian, then you could be 30 years old and you still have a childlike faith, and not in a good way. It's saying like anything can sway you, so it's like we're not being swayed like a ship on the sea. When you're strong in the spirit, your faith grows. You'll still fall, but you're growing in faith and growing your spirit and mind, that you get back up easier. You know your path. You know exactly the goals that God has for you, one step at a time. He doesn't show everything, but he shows a step or two ahead to know, okay, I'm building you towards this, or just do this. He gives you actions and you hear it. You don't have things in your mind, or believing anything that's not of God. And so that's what it's saying. But speaking the truth in love in all things, both our speech and our lives, expressing his truth. Let us grow up in all things into him, following his example, who is the head, Christ. From him, the whole body, the church, and all its various parts, joined and knitted firmly together by what every joint supplies, when each part is working properly, causes the body to grow and mature, building itself up in unselfish love. That is the results of the program. Not the program will never end, but those are some of the results you get when you do the program. When you're looking at a commercial of like Insanity or something like that, you see a before after type deal. And so this program is a little different because we have to constantly do it, but you are supposed to change. It is supposed to be a before and after. Before Christ, after Christ. That's basically what it's saying. But as Christians, sometimes we don't think about that. We have tasks. We are supposed to still grow in God. Just because, of course we believe in Jesus, but we're supposed to grow in him. We're supposed to continue to talk to him. The relationship is supposed to get stronger and stronger the more we're alive. Like I said, the day that you stop learning, the day that you stop growing, you dead. You're not supposed to stop doing it until you die. And you're supposed to pass it on. And that's why working in oneness, speaking in truth and love in all things, both our speech and our lives, expressing his truth. That way you pass that on to bring more people to the program. And if we all work together as one body, that's every part is working properly, causes the body to grow and mature, building itself up in unselfish love. And what it says, working properly causes the body to grow and mature. Let me go back. Joined and knitted firmly together by what every joint supplies. What does that mean? Fellowship. Together. We're all together. We're not meant to be alone. We're not meant to do this alone. We're supposed to have people who's walking the same journey, and we're supposed to be working together. That's what the church is. And when each part is working properly, so when you hold each other accountable and you're building up to a certain point, it causes the body to grow. It causes the church to grow. It causes everyone to grow and mature in the spirit, building itself up in unselfish love, rather than you have a certain agenda. It's unselfish. That was just a clip of a Bible study I've done on spiritual maturity, the last study on the personal training program that God puts us on as soon as we start believing in Jesus. If you want to hear more about this study, I have other clips as well, or if you want to hear the whole message, it is available as well. Thank you for watching. Thank you for watching Genuine Uplift. Please take the time to check out our other videos as well. We have podcasts available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and other platforms. We have messages for the Bible studies that are already uploaded on YouTube with different playlists. And we also have a men's Bible study that is uploaded on our Genuine Uplift Facebook page. Please take the time to check out the videos, like, share, listen to the podcast if you have the time. Thank you for watching again.